Today, I have a very special guest joining me on Ever Stand at Home. He's not actually at home at all, but back in the Coliseum, keeping our student athletes safe and in shape. It's Ben Abbott, the head strength and conditioning coach.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for letting us pull you away from the weight room for a few minutes. What sports did you play growing up, and how did you know that you wanted to be involved in strength and conditioning long term?
Yeah, so I started out at a young age playing baseball and then realized that was definitely not my sport. Switched over to wrestling in high school and pursued a wrestling career in college at a small Division III school. So going through that, thought I wanted to be an athletic trainer. Went through a whole program up there, learned a lot of that, and realized it was a little too slow for me and wanted to switch over to strength and conditioning and work more with performance, not as much injury side of things.
So you got your master's at Florida State, and you even began your career there. How did you end up at Winthrop?
Well, I was getting to a point at Florida State where I was wanting a little bit of a different challenge and wanted to take that next step in my career. And one of my mentors, fiance at the time, actually played softball here at Winthrop University. So I was sitting at a restaurant one day during lunch, and my mentor called me up, said if I would be interested or had interest of running a department, and he knew of a place. So thought it was Winthrop and threw my name in the hat, and it's been a good decision.
So how have things changed around the weight room since the athletes have returned to campus?
Yeah, so we've had to implement a little bit new procedures with the whole COVID situation happening. So we've implemented a mask, so the athletes are wearing masks. We've implemented some stricter cleaning policies and some guidelines on how long workouts can be. So workouts are normally 45 minutes right now, so we have a 15-minute buffering window where we can clean, wipe stuff down, reorganize, make sure everything is sanitized the way it needs to. We have an entrance and an exit door, so you walk in through the double glass doors and you exit by the administration office to kind of minimize foot traffic and crossing paths.
So does Winthrop strength and conditioning staff create specialized workouts for each individual team? And how does that process typically work?
Yeah, so we really try to focus on what the team needs. Every team is slightly different. So each of our staff here has their own set of teams that they specifically work with. So I specifically work with volleyball, cross country, baseball, and women's lacrosse. So my programs will be similar, but got to focus on some different things. And how when I program, what I like to look at is what are the high risk injuries of those sports. And that's how my programs become tailored to those sports. So for example, baseball and volleyball being overhead sports, we do a lot of shoulder care and preventive exercises, where lacrosse is a field-based, a lot of cutting, agility, speed. We're going to work on stabilizing the knee, ankle. And lacrosse, they do all their conditioning with Coach Paxton. So my job is to get them to feel good, moving well, and staying strong within their weight room so they can handle all the mileage and all the speed work that he does with them. So.
Awesome. So in your role here, what would you say is the most rewarding part of your job?
The most rewarding part of my job is seeing these athletes reach their genetic potential in life. And what I mean by that is not every athlete is going to be a pro at their sport. They may want to be a doctor. They may want to be an architect, engineer, whatever it may be. So helping them achieve that goal. And it's not like I'll help them study or anything, but making the weight room a place for athletes to step away from school, step away from life, and use this as a very positive stress to put the world aside and put some good hard work. So that's what I take away, and that's what makes the most joy in my life, is seeing these athletes achieve their ultimate desires in life, whatever it may be.
What is some advice that you would give to younger athletes, maybe some people in high school that are hoping to make that jump to college athletics?
I'm a big believer in playing multiple sports. Play multiple sports, multiple disciplines. Don't focus too early. Don't specialize too early. Playing all these different sports give different attributes physically that can be used for your sport. So I'm a big believer in playing multiple sports. If you look at some of the best athletes from around the world in the pro sports, they played 2 or 3 high school sports. So best athletes are going to be the best at multiple sports.
And what is the number one fitness tip that you would give somebody?
Number one fitness tip, find something you enjoy. Consistency is king. So if running is not your thing, tying your shoelaces and going out for a 5-mile run is not your thing, then it's not going to be the best thing for you. Go ride a bike, go lift weights, whatever it may be. You got to find what really sparks the fire in you and just be consistent with it. So I know for me personally, I like to Olympic weightlift. So I like to throw heavy weights over my head. Some people like to run. If you tell me to go run, I'm probably not going to do it just because that's not where I gravitate towards. So the biggest thing is find what you enjoy and be consistent at it.
Okay, so I'm sure you know that there is tons of different myths and truths on the internet in regards to exercise and fitness. So I was hoping you can give us the scoop on some of these.
Okay.
All right, you need a pre-workout supplement to work out.
No, you do not. You do not need the typical pre-workout of caffeine or all these other supplements. If you're saying, hey, you need a banana to get a little more energy as a pre-workout, great, but you don't need anything.
Stretching prevents injuries.
That's debated. You need to be flexible enough to do your sport. So if you're not flexible enough to hit those positions, then yeah, it's going to prevent injuries. But there's conflicting data. You can't really have a definitive answer on that one.
People who exercise need less sleep.
No, we all need a good amount of sleep, and I think society as a whole needs more. That's one of the biggest things in this field is we tell athletes to do a lot. We got to make sure that they sleep so they can recover. That's where you build muscle. That's where you recover, is when you're shutting your eyes.
Okay. Skipping leg day is okay.
No, you can't miss leg day if you want to be legendary.
Weightlifting will make you bulky.
Oh, that's another myth. So it's definitely a myth.
All right, and last but not least, but probably the most important, the louder you yell, the more you can lift.
Depends. Sometimes some people like it, some people don't. I know for me personally, if you yell and scream, I'm probably not going to lift as much. But I know some people that like to scream and yell, and they'll hit a new PR with it.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was great catching up with you.
You as well.